Okay, it may take a few more seconds. It looks like people are getting on the line to start the second part of the hearing, so please hang on. Thank you.
This is Judge DePel. I'm on the line, just waiting for the commissioners to join us.
Commissioner Kenny's on the line.
Oh, thank you, Commissioner.
Yes, ma'am.
We'll wait just another couple of minutes for make sure all the commissioners that were planning to join us are here, and then we can begin the formal part of taking testimony.
Holzman here.
Welcome, Commissioner Holzman. Thank you for letting me know you're here. Okay, I think that those were the two commissioners I was certain that were going to join us, so we'll go ahead and begin, and if other commissioners join us as we go, they'll make their presence known. So it looks like my court reporter is ready to go. So I will go ahead and get this started. Let's go ahead and go on the record. First, I would like to ask everyone to be sure and mute your computer or your phone or how you're calling in unless you are speaking. That will help us with any feedback issues. And if you are on a call-in line, you may have to hit *6 to unmute when you are ready to speak. Today is January 29th, 2021. The Missouri Public Service Commission has set this time for a virtual local public hearing in case number WR-2020-0344. That's in the matter of Missouri American Water Company's request for authority to implement a general rate increase for water and sewer service provided in Missouri service areas. The Commission has scheduled this local public hearing, which we are holding virtually, to give members of the public a chance to comment about Missouri American's request. The Missouri Public Service Commission regulates the rates charged by investor-owned public utility companies in Missouri to ensure that those rates are just and reasonable. The Commission also regulates the quality of service and safety of operations of those public utilities. The Commission is made up of 5 commissioners. The commissioners are appointed by the governor to fixed terms and confirmed by the Senate. The commissioners employ a staff of engineers, accountants, attorneys, financial analysts, and other specialists in the field of utility regulation. My name is Nancy DePel, and I'm a regulatory law judge with the commission, and I will be presiding over this hearing today. With me on the line are Commissioner Kinney and Commissioner Holzman. This is an official hearing of the Missouri Public Service Commission, and the statements and testimony of the witnesses will be recorded by a court reporter and will therefore be given under oath or affirmation. All of the commissioners will then have an opportunity to read the witnesses' remarks, and those comments will be put into the official case file of this case. I'd like to go ahead and begin by asking the council that are present for the parties to enter their appearance for the record. Can we begin with Missouri American Water?
Thank you, Judge DeBell. Tim Luft, 727 Craig Road, St. Louis, Missouri, 63141, Council for Missouri American Water. Thank you.
And commission staff?
Thank you, Judge. Whitney Payne on behalf of the staff of the Missouri Public Service Commission.
Thank you. Office of the Public Counsel?
Good afternoon, Judge. Thank you. Caleb Hall appearing on behalf of Missouri's Office of Public Counsel. Our office address is 200 Madison Street, P.O. Box 2230, Jefferson City, Missouri 65102.
Thank you. And are there any of the official interveners that have attorneys present that needed to make an entry? Not hearing any. So the process that we're going to follow this for the second half of this proceeding is that I have a list of names of people who have pre-registered to speak. I'll go down the list and call those names. When I do call your name, just go ahead and unmute yourself. And then I'll ask you to give an oath or affirmation to tell the truth. You can state your name and spell it. And also, it is helpful if you'll give us the area in which you receive service, since the Missouri American provides both water and sewer service in various places all around the state. So if you could state the type of service that you receive and the area that you receive that service, that would be helpful. And then you'll go ahead and give us your comments. We shouldn't have too much trouble with timing, but just to be courteous to everyone and their time today, I would ask that you keep your remarks to no more than 5 minutes, and that way everyone can have a chance to testify that wants to do so. After I've gone through the list of people who have pre-registered, I will open it up and ask those who are still on the line if there are anyone else that wants to give comments to the commission. I would ask you also to stay on the line immediately following your comments, so that if the commissioners, myself, or some of the attorneys have some clarifying questions, they can ask those of you before you get off the line. Let's see, the audio of this testimony portion of the hearing is also being streamed on our internet website. That's the commission's website at psc.mo.gov. And that will be recorded and will remain on the website for some time if there are other people that want to hear the testimony portion. The commissioners won't be able to answer your questions today because they have to remain impartial until after all of the evidence is presented in this case. They have not made any decisions in this case at this point, and this is part of their fact gathering process to hear your comments and then use them in conjunction with the evidence the parties present to help make their decision. If you have questions still after the hearing, you can use the same email address you used to register for this hearing, or if you have additional comments you'd like to make in writing, that is MAWC, the word comments, COMMENTS, all one word, at psc.mo.gov. And you can also call the Commission's Consumer Services Hotline at 800-392-4211 if you want to give comments, additional comments, or try to find a good way to have your questions answered if you weren't able to get all of the information you needed here today. There's also a spot on the commission's website under this case file that you can leave written comments directly into the comments section of this case file. Last little housekeeping thing that I'll say is that there is a chat feature on this WebEx internet interface. That is not an official comment area. Sometimes in other hearings, people have used that to get additional information, to find a phone number, and staff are monitoring that chat, but those comments, any comments that go into that will not be recorded in the official file. I think then that is all of my introductory information, and we can go ahead and begin with witness testimony. The first person I have on my pre-registration list is Daniel Ward. Is Daniel Ward available?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Thank you. If you could please raise your right hand if you're able.
Yes, certainly am.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give at this hearing will be the truth?
Yes.
Great. Would you please state your name and spell it for the court reporter?
Daniel, no middle initial, Ward, Daniel Ward.
Thank you. If you could tell us where you receive service if you're a customer, and then give us your comments.
Yes, I'm in the Branson West area, specifically in Stonebridge Village, and currently a customer for Missouri American Water for both water and sewer service.
Okay, go ahead with your comments.
Okay. Yes, my specific concern or big concern is when I listened in to all of the 2018 hearings for many days and many hours, but it was very educational on how the process worked. Anyway, and I did pay attention to everything that was said. One of the things that disturbed me was the lack of consideration of specific fiscal and social considerations regarding the districts themselves and the demographics of the district with regard to rate setting. Specifically, the household incomes, for instance. The mean household income was not even mentioned for each district. So and there was a lot of assumption made. In fact, one off the cuff comment that kind of raised the hair on the back of my neck here was when they made jokes stating that the people in Branson with the $500,000 homes probably won't notice the rate increase. Well, specifically, we're in Stone County here, and Stone County has a much lower median household income than St. Louis County. In fact, the average household income in Stone County is $41,000 a year. And while, yes, I specifically live in Stonebridge Village, there's a few $500,000 homes, but we have 610 residences here. And many of those are 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom, and 3-bedroom condominiums. In fact, my mother, who's 88 years old, lives in one of the 3-bedroom condominiums that I purchased for her. And her household income is fixed on Social Security, and that's it. That's why I moved here, so she had assistance. And there's many people like that that live here. So that assumption was wrong and should never have been stated. That was a very poor assumption. So therefore, when you look at St. Louis with an average income of $61,000 a year versus Stone County average income of $41,000 a year, I think that's a significant consideration that should be put into the process. To say that, oh, well, we use these people to offset the cost of the infrastructure in St. Louis County. Take the Branson, raise their rates so they can offset the cost of doing improvements in St. Louis County. No, that's the wrong way to approach it. Let's tap the poor so we can pay for the rich. I think, a little bit of reversed logic there when you look at how that works. So anyway, when you look at other processes in a democratic society. So that was a major concern, and I think it needs to be considered here. The staff did a great job in the analysis. I read it. Very good analysis on the waterworks financials. And that, when you look at that, in 2018, it was agreed upon for 9.55% ROE, I believe. Yes, you'll verify that. So if that's what was agreed upon in 2018 by all parties, that'd be 9.55 or no, 9 to 10%. That's what it was, 9.5 to 10%. would be the agreed upon ROE. So if that's the case, that's agreed upon ROE. You go down the road and say, hey, we changed our mind. We want ROE higher than that. And that's shouldn't be the way it works. They agreed upon it in 2018. That's the way it should be. And when you look at the American Water Works company and the wealth they've acquired in the last 2 years, it is astronomical. February 1st, 17, the stock price was $78 a share. Today, right now, I just checked it, it's $159. Okay, so $78, $159 in 2 years or 3 years here, whatever. I mean, you look at that rate of increase and it's not a decline. The trend line is up. This company's trend line is up. You know, I mean, it's not trending down. The earnings per share goes up. I mean, this is a very wealthy company with the CEO in her third quarter briefing, promising forecasting a 7 to 10% increase annually to the company's dividend to stockholders. And a 7 to 10% dividend promise from a CEO means, hey, we're rich, we're going to get richer, and when you look at what they base their promises on, it's on rate increases. So I think, we get frustrated down here as customers, especially people on fixed income, when you're giving companies these kinds of rate increases that exceed the consumer price index and the inflation rate for the rest of the country. And we're in a pandemic. Half the people here aren't working. The unemployment rate in Branson area goes over 30% during this time of year. And the churches are feeding people. That's what we do here in the wintertime. We feed the people that are unemployed when everything's shut down. So these are the things, the social consideration should be in there. I mean, this is a utility company providing a necessary service. Okay, so that's what frustrates us here. And yeah, okay, we got a golf course, and so forth, but other people are impacted by this. I'm lucky enough to be in good shape financially, but I look at the other people here, they are not such. This is hurting them. We actually had people move out of here because of the costs. Okay, and this is one of the things they're very frustrated at, is that these water rates are just going up, 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 and the sewer rates are going up, up, up. And anyway, and I just don't understand it, how we can make this company so wealthy off the backs of the ratepayers. If this company was breaking even, I can see one thing, but it's not breaking even. So, and I looked at the executive salaries. I don't want to get into that detail, but they're doing okay. But anyway, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ward. Are there any questions from the commissioners or attorneys for Mr. Ward? I'm not hearing any, so we appreciate your participation in this today. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And again, the staff, that is amazing work you did on that analysis. I read it all, and you have some very talented people. I appreciate that. Thank you.
I'm sure our staff appreciates your comments. Thank you. Michelle Hyde. Is Michelle Hyde available? And again, if you are on a phone, you may have to hit *6 to unmute the system. Not hearing Ms. Hyde. If I go past you, you'll have an opportunity at the end to join us and give comments. So Diana Allen.
Yes,
Ms. Allen, thank you. Would you please raise your hand if you're able?
I am.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give at this hearing will be the truth?
I do.
Thank you. If you could state your name and spell it for the court reporter.
Diana Allen, Allynn.
And if you could tell us what area that you live in and what kind of service you receive if you're a customer.
Yes, I receive the water service. I'm at 140 Forest Lane, Branson, Missouri, in the Woodlands.
Okay, go ahead with your comments.
Well, I guess it was, I had mentioned earlier too, that I just wanted to know why we were doing this during the middle of a pandemic when I think David Ward said it best. We've got 30-some% unemployment. Most all of us, I mean, we live in a tourist industry, and we, you know, or what I always joke about and say, we are the amoeba on the non-essential of the non-essentials. We don't have anybody coming. We don't have any income. We don't have anything. And then to see that there's a, you know, a $5-6 increase going to come every single month, you know, for a lot of us, we're having a hard time just feeding our kids. And so it's like, why now? Why can't we have this discussion just 12 months from now?
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for Ms. Allen? I'm not hearing any. Thank you so much for your participation, Ms. Allen. We appreciate your comments.
Thank you.
Lisa Gilmore? I'm not hearing anyone. Doug Smith? I'm not getting anyone. I have a list also of people who pre-registered but did not give us a which hearing they were planning to participate in. Oh, I'm sorry.
Hello.
Who do I have on the line?
This is Doug Smith.
Oh, very good. Mr. Smith,
I just heard the first comment. I heard that
Oh,
I
if
heard
you
you say that you needed to hit *6 to unmute. So I didn't, that's what I just did. Anyway,
Okay.
I'm on
Okay,
now.
great. If you could please raise your right hand. Do you
I am.
solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give at this hearing will be the truth?
I do.
Would you please state your name and spell it for the court reporter?
Douglas Smith, Douglas Smith, Smith.
And tell us the area you live in, the service you receive if you're a customer, and then give us your comments.
Okay. I live in St. Louis County, specifically Concord Village, a zip code 63128, and my address is 10411 Vintage Court. I do receive water service and also sewer service.
Okay, go ahead with your comments for us.
I'm just commenting that I have not done extensive research like the first gentleman, but the rate increase is considerable, considering that we had a rate increase just a couple years ago, and the rate increase for St. Louis, for my area, probably would cover a brand new water tower, which is about 50% larger than the existing one over in Sunset Hills area. So that's what this supposedly this rate increase is going to cover part of. Also, it seems like the rates just keep going up and up and up, and I understand to a certain point, but not like it's going to be like a 22-23% increase. That's pretty steep. I'm just asking that you please reconsider this, and perhaps make better use. I'm not complaining, but I'm just saying that a lot of the times that we have water service repairs done on the streets in St. Louis County, specifically my street, real close to me, Concordia School Road, and it's having new water service put in up there and sewer service. The gentlemen that have been up there for the last 3 days, with the exception of yesterday, that would be Friday. Well, they started on Friday, and then Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, they sat in their cars the entire time. They didn't do anything. Well, wait a minute. Let me back up one. Tuesday, they did work. They started digging up the street. The rest of the time, they sat in their cars. And this can be verified by other residents in the subdivision. I just think that that's not really good use of manpower. And I don't think that the executives at the water company would put up with that. I don't care if they're union or not. You just don't do that. So I would ask that that doesn't happen anymore. Anyway, that's the end of my discussion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. Are there any questions for Mr. Smith?
Just one clarifying question. Mr. Smith, you're in Concord Village. Is your sewer provider MSD, Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions for Mr. Smith? Thank you, Mr. Smith, for participating today. We appreciate your
Okay.
comments.
Thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Okay, so that was all of the names that I had on my pre-registered list, but I do have some people who said that they would like to testify. This is the 8th of these local public hearings, comment hearings that we've had in the last week and a half. So I'm going to just go through these names in case some of these people are on this line. And I'm going to go through these pretty quickly. So again, if I go past you and you're not able to speak up, just speak up when you're able. You may again have to press *6 if you're on a phone to unmute. David Parr, Julie or Terry Hayes, is someone, there we go. Barbara Usen, Bruce Kondracki, Philip Mitchell, Clarissa Cobb Fritz, Jasmine Jones, or Nancy Norton. Okay, I'm not getting anything from any of those folks. So at this time, then I would just open it up to the rest of you that are on the line. If you wish to give comments, if you can unmute and speak up, I will get to you as I can identify you. Is there anyone else that, oh, there we go. Is that someone that would like to give comments?
This is Les Lamori.
Okay. Can you please raise your right hand?
Yes,
Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give at this hearing will be the truth?
it is.
Can you please spell your name for the court reporter?
Les, L-E-S, Lamori, L-A-M-O-U-R-E-U-X.
And Mr. Lamore, would you tell us what part of the state you reside in and what kind of service you receive from the company?
Branson West area and Stonebridge Village, and I receive water and wastewater service.
All right, go ahead and give us your comments.
My comments have to do with, again, the amount of increase here being 15% plus for water and 20% plus for wastewater. And in the last session that we had with the Q&A, it was explained that infrastructure drives most of this need for increase. And I certainly understand that everything wears out and needs to be replaced, and I also understand that some of this needed to be replaced many years ago. However, when it comes to how to pay for it, I don't think that a rate increase is the best way to do it, because the rate increase, like taxes, once you raise tax, it rarely ever does that tax go away. So with a rate increase, you're basically forever going to be paying for that infrastructure, even after it has been paid for. I was thinking more along the lines of special assessment. There are, in a certain project, in a certain district, there may be a certain dollar amount of infrastructure improvements, and those customers could be billed a special assessment for that improvement, and maybe it could be stretched out over 12 to 24 months, whatever. And once that special assessment's paid, it's paid, that improvement's been paid for. And you go on paying your regular rate for water and sewer with maybe a smaller increase from year to year, like a 1 to 2% increase. I'd mentioned earlier that I'm on Social Security, and the government has promised me a whopping 1.3% increase. Others have already expressed their concern about this being during a pandemic that has hurt many people financially. So I just don't like the way that the infrastructure improvements are included in a rate increase that's probably never going to go away. And I'm also concerned about the amount of that increase. So those are my concerns.
Thank you, sir, for those comments. Are there any questions for this witness? Okay, I appreciate your comments, Mr. Lamore.
Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else on the line that would like to testify? Just if you would like to speak or give further comments, just unmute yourself. If you're on a phone, you'll have to unmute your phone and then hit *6 to unmute the system. If you're logged in on the internet, you can hit the unmute button at the bottom of your screen. I don't want to cut anybody off. If there's anybody there that would like to speak up, we certainly appreciate all of your time and logging in and participating in these processes. Like I say, this is the 8th of these and the last of these local public hearings, but there are other ways to give your comments. You can contact the Public Service Commission by email. You can email comments to mawccomments@psc.mo.gov. You can go to our website at psc.mo.gov and click on the comments section there. Or you can call our consumer services if you need to figure out a way to get additional information or to give comments, and that's 1-800-392-4211. Is there anyone else that would like to speak at this time? I'm not seeing anything else. Again, the commission appreciates all of your comments. This is an important part of our process. And if there's no one else, then we can go ahead and wrap up. And we can go off the record.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Commissioner.
Judge.